Hello there, and welcome to Dr. T for today, September the 7th. We are starting off on stage 1, of course, and there is a boom cannon there, and it is a pretty high-level boom cannon, and I have no freaking idea how many hit points it has. Why? Because I didn't even bother to look. There's no reason to kill that boom cannon. That boom cannon probably has a family somewhere. It's just putting in its 9 to 5. Let it be. Go all the way around it. No one's gonna get hurt. Get your kill and move on to stage 2. I realize the irony because I did actually break it, but I didn't mean to blow it up, okay? Now stage 2. Boom cannons are a little more reasonable. However, you actually have to take one of them out. Not both, but one. And you know, that's pretty easy, let's be honest. Now, throw yourself, or your tanks, I guess, up into the top corner, not where that second flare went. The first and third flares, that's where you want to go. Let your tanks follow those crates, like, obviously don't flare to where I go, like, let your tanks take out the crates that, in this case, the critters took out, and eventually they will end up on the HQ. Sorry, I've been shocking and stopping my own tanks from being able to do anything because I wanted to show you that, one, that sniper tower does not have range on the tanks, and two, that I will do ridiculous things just because. So yes, I just shocked my tanks for a total of about 40 seconds, just to make sure it didn't kill the HQ accidentally. Alright, moving on to stage 3. I'm, again, throwing critters to show you where you basically want to let your tanks go. I'm dropping my tanks further along because, well, the critters go faster than the tanks, and they'll run up there and get killed, and then we can just pretend my tanks took that trek, and I'll land them up here. The good news is, you're going to get a mountain of GBE for doing that. The bad news is, you're going to have to use said GBE on the the shock launcher that is hiding right behind the building health statue. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's a pretty tricky place. Anyways, you're definitely going to want to throw at least one barrage at that shock launcher. The reason for that being there are a bunch of mines and boom mines and things like that that you're going to want to blow up before your tanks actually get there. And then once you end up in the corner right here, the only thing that can hit you is that one rocket launcher, and if you can either take it out or distract it or shock it or do something, you're going to have nothing shooting at you, which means you can take out stage 3 in peace. We'll move on to stage 4. Stage 4 is, I guess, returning or continuing the habit or the precedent of being ridiculously hard. So there is a boom cannon right next to the HQ. You saw I threw a bunch of artillery at it. The reason for that is, if you don't have critters, you're going to want to save a couple of barrages for this minefield, because you're going to take out the boom mines and the shock mine and all the things so that your troops can safely roll up on the HQ. That means you're going to have to use a buttload of artilleries to take out that boom cannon, because the boom cannon, she gotta go. She gotta go. So, the good news is you can farm the left-hand side as you approach for the GBE that you need to blow up that boom cannon, or to throw the barrages to clear the mines, or whatever you need. And once you finally end up where my tanks are right here, as you can see, it is 100% safe. There's a rocket launcher that might pester you, maybe a mortar, but for the most part, you're going to be able to sit there all day shooting at the HQ and getting yourself some fat loot. Like super fat loot, like swag levels of loot. Anyway, let's move on to stage 5, which, if you are close to beating 4 and you feel like you need to boost, I strongly suggest you do it, because if you could take down 4, you can take down 5. There is a boom cannon, but this boom cannon only has 11,000 hit points on it, as opposed to Mr. 17,000 in level 4. And once you take out that boom cannon, it's the scariest thing on the level. I guess the sniper tower here is pretty intense, but if you're really hurting and you can't pull off the straight up kill, you can throw a shock on that little section, hit the boom cannon, hit the sniper tower, and the mortar all at the same time with one shock, and just let your tanks slowly work them out. I do suggest you save maybe one shock for further up here, but really if you're shocking down there and not using your GBE, or well, more specifically, not using your gunboat attacks down with the boom cannon and sniper tower, you can use those to soften up defenses up here closer to the HQ, and eventually you'll be able to drop your tanks right where mine are, set yourself up with a super safe super spot where you can start to super shoot the super headquarters. I was going to call it a core, but it is a headquarters. And the reason there's so many supers is because this core, or headquarters, has 465,000 hit points, which is an absolutely absurd number of hit points for a stage 5, but you can so easily get into this nice safe spot where nothing's gonna hit you, so, you know, it's kind of cool, I guess. If you got critters, maybe toss some critters down. If you got barrage and artillery, you know, do whatever you can to that core to make it happen. Now, I said if you took down 4, you could take down 5. Well, if you take down 5, you could probably take down 6. The shock launcher right up near the shore has 17,000 hit points, which is a lot more, admittedly, than 11, like at the last level. But wait, it's the exact same as the 17,000 from stage 4. It's ridiculous. So what I've done is blown up that shock launcher and dropped 3 boats of tanks, just to show you like how easy it really is. I didn't mean to drop that many medics because I just got really click happy on the beach there, you know. It happens every once in a while. It's okay. Don't judge me. So, take everything up the left-hand side, throw critters down to clear the mines, and then there's this little 5-pack of defenses, I guess. There's the 3 cannons, the 1 sniper tower, and a partridge in a pear tree. Blow those up. Keep them shocked. That's all you gotta do to get the win. Because you use damage down on the shock launcher, hopefully your shocks are going to be nice and cheap. You can throw your shocks, take out a couple of buildings, and call it a day. You will probably want to take out this sniper tower, the one that's just in front of the HQ, before you flare into that back corner, just because it will have range. But once you set up shop in this back corner, there's 1 sniper tower and a couple of rocket launchers that can actually hit you. Worst case scenario, you lose a tank or 3, but you still get some crazy stage 6 loot if you're a lower level, which means you're getting the guaranteed crystal along with all the other good stuff. Who cares about the rest of it though? Guaranteed crystal. Come on. I can't say this enough. Guaranteed crystal. And really, like, once you're here, you can see that it's pretty safe. Like, admittedly, if I didn't have as many medics as I do, that 1 poor tank up at the very front might fall, but man, is it ever worth it if you're a lower level to take a few losses for that stage 6 crystal. Yeah, guaranteed crystal. Anyways, let's move on to stage 7, because after stage 5 and 6 were such cakewalks, I was like, oh, stage 7 is going to be bad, it's going to be ugly, it's going to hurt. And you know what? I was wrong. Stage 7, it's not easy by any means. Very tricky, actually, but definitely a good fight, and definitely in the realm of possibility without losing one's insanity. So just to hit on a few quick things. Number 1, the second boom cannon that I took out, you probably noticed I used 3 artillery. Use your artillery on that one. Because you're going to be taking out several different boom cannons, you have the opportunity to divide up, I guess, the GBE as you see fit. Make sure you use your artillery on that one and share the damage with the 2 rocket launchers. By taking out the 2 rocket launchers and the boom cannon, well, the boom cannon has to go anyways, but by taking out the 2 rocket launchers with it, 1, it's a little bit safer to drop critters. 2, it greatly reduces the amount of, like, attrition, essentially, like the constant damage, which allows your medics to stay right up on top of everything and turn this attack into just slightly more difficult than a cakewalk. Now, make sure, because you've got boom cannons and shock launchers on the left, and you got shock launchers obviously on the right, because, well, the stupid thing is shocking me. You're gonna have to walk a very narrow path. Make sure you save yourself some flares so that you can actually pull that off. Also, save some critters to take out all of those mines, because, yeah, that's right, they gots to go. They are a bad thing. Okay, so once you get up into this area, just kind of pull everything together. Your tanks should reach out, shoot most of the stuff that actually has range on you, and then switch over onto that HQ and finish it off. There is 1 sniper tower and a mortar and a couple rocket launchers that have range, but you know what? That's okay, because you can just throw some heals down or let your medics keep what they can alive, and eventually you're going to cruise on in for a nice stage 7 guaranteed crystal. Oh no, not this again, don't worry. Alright, so I want to go out with a bang, gonna throw down the smoke, and then let my tanks take out Dr. T Stage 7 in style. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been entertaining. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.